Lovelies, it's Admin Pickles here, and this is week 2, and I think I'm calling this one Let's Talk About Food. So let's get right on into it. I thought I could just get right on into it, and then I realized I don't really feel like I have that transition locked in. But hey, it wouldn't be my videos unless I had this goofy awkwardness thing that I do. But we're gonna start talking about calories, a little bit about nutrition, and diets in this video. Now I kind of feel like I can just segue my way into the little thing I have prepared on my screen. Okay, the first law of thermodynamics, which states that energy cannot be created or destroyed, it can only be transformed into one type or another, governs whether or not you can lose weight, right? So just keep that in mind. You can't create or destroy energy. So basically, that's gonna say like whatever you eat, it's gonna be with you. So you're gonna use it or you're gonna keep it. And I don't think we want to keep it. We can keep some of it. We don't want to keep too much of it. All right, I'm starting to go off on a tangent. So, what is a calorie? A calorie is the amount of energy needed to raise the temperature of 1 liter of water by 1 degree Celsius. When you eat food, you are consuming the energy that is stored within the proteins, carbohydrates, and fat molecules of that food. I know it might sound a little confusing, but it's not. So carbohydrates have 4 calories per gram. Protein has 4 calories per gram, and then fat has a nice 9 calories per gram. So essentially what this means is you can actually get more energy from fat. And I know a lot of times we've kind of been like conditioned to believe that low fat, low cal, or zero fat is good, but that's not necessarily true because at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is how many calories you take in. Like the amount of fats and proteins and carbohydrates, like it matters, but at the same time, it doesn't because the grand poobah is how many calories you take in versus how many calories you burn. So don't get fooled by things that say low fat because fat isn't bad. Fat does awesome things for your body, but we kind of like associate fat with being bad because it gets stored as fat. You know what I'm saying? Like the extra calories that get stored as fat, but like you don't have to get low fat things. You just want to make sure there are good fats and bad fats, just like there are good carbs and bad part good carbs and bad carbs. And I don't think there's good protein. Well, I guess you could say lean protein is good protein and bad protein, but as far as I'm concerned, protein is protein, have at it. But so just make sure you're staying away from the bad fats like saturated fats, especially trans fats. So I can't remember like what's a good range, but of course, whenever I can't remember something when I'm telling you guys this stuff, I just add it in during editing. So that'll be on the screen somewhere. For trans fats, I just want you guys to know that like on your label, because I'm gonna have to do a separate video for like how to read a label, or I'll post an article somewhere. That way I won't have to make a video for that. But unfortunately, the government or FDA, whoever's in charge of that or not in charge, they will let companies say that products have 0 grams of trans fats as long as it's under half a gram per serving. And companies will get over like that because they can say, oh, it's no trans fats. But if you eat enough of the product, you're consuming trans fats, which are bad for you. I can't remember why. That's a Google search. I'll probably do that and put that in the notes later because I'm running short on time. I'm sorry. I stayed out late last night, so I kind of got to rush this. Now, so to make sure that whatever you're eating doesn't have trans fats, you want to look for partially hydrogenated oils. And I can't remember if there's another indicator that will tell you if a product has trans fats in it, but I know the number one is partially hydrogenated oils. So make sure you're reading your food labels and stuff like that, because reading your food label is important. You want to know how many calories are in it per serving to make sure it's worth you eating. Like, if it's not going to keep you satiated long enough and you're going to have to come back for more, or you're going to have to eat something else, it's probably not a good food choice. And I'm definitely going to have to do a video tomorrow, because I'm off tomorrow, about food choices, because I don't want this one to be too long because I don't have enough time to edit it. All right, where did I leave off? Oh, so your body can only store the calorie energy. It can only burn or store the calorie energy that it absorbs. And I touched on that earlier. And that's why the first rule of thermodynamics comes into play. Because when we eat the calories that are in the food, it can never disappear or be destroyed. It can only change form. So that means we're going to burn it, as in use it to like do stuff like this, or we're going to store it as fat so we can use it later. So, in their food form, calories are stored as chemical energy in the bonds of the food molecules. So, yay, break down those bonds. And so, when we eat them, they don't disappear, but, oh yeah, I got into that. So, no, sorry, I'm not organized. So when we eat them, the calories, they don't disappear. They are eventually transformed or burned into different types of energy that our body can use or produce each day, like heat energy, electrical energy, sound energy, and kinetic energy. Or if we don't use them, they get stored as more chemical energy. That's why, according to the first law of thermodynamics, any calories that you consume and do not burn must be destroyed. And that's where we get our extra fat from. And unfortunately, the primarily storage mechanism for the excess calories, it's fat, not muscle. I wish it was muscle. Oh, sweet, sweet muscle. And ladies, do not be afraid of muscle, okay? Muscle is a good thing because, yeah, it's denser, so it kind of weighs more, but it's going to burn more calories in your body. So, like, the more muscle you have, the more energy your body needs to support that muscle. So don't be afraid of muscle. I promise you, you will not get bulky like a man if you lift heavy weights. It's just genetically not possible unless you have some assistance. Like, you might be able to put on muscle pretty fast, like if you have higher levels of testosterone, but I promise you, you will not look like a man unless that is your intention to look like a man. Okay? So you don't have to worry about looking like a competitive bodybuilder, because a lot of chicks worry about that. I don't know why. Personally, I think some of them look good. Some of them take it too far, but that's their choice. That's their body. I will support them. Okay, where was I? Okay, so the basic rules of weight loss, which I've told you guys about before, is if you eat more calories than you burn, you're gonna gain weight. All right, that's just how that works. If you eat less calories, you're going to lose weight. And then if you eat the same amount as you burn, you're going to balance out. You're not going to gain any weight. You're not going to lose any weight. So once you get to the weight that you want to be, that's what you want to be doing. You want to be having your calories around what you're burning so you maintain the weight that you want. And I'm pretty sure last week I mentioned the math on losing weight. So it's like 300 and not 300, 3,500 calories and 1 pound of fat. So if you wanted to lose a pound a week, you need to consume less or burn 500 calories every day to lose that pound. Now, to keep yourself alive, your body is always burning at least a minimum amount of calories, and that's your basal metabolic rate. BMR for short, because I'm not going to try to say that too many times. And so those calories are used to support your bodily functions, like, your heart beating, you breathing, kidneys, lungs, doing whatever they need to do. So, like, if you were just to lay down in your bed for 24 hours and just, like, sleep, your body's still going to burn calories because it has to keep you alive. Essentially, that's what they're saying. So, if you want to do other things besides just staying alive, you need to eat a little more food to have energy to power those things. I think that makes sense. I feel like that makes sense. Okay, so on any given day, the total number of calories you burn is the sum of your BMR plus the additional calories burned from the activities you do. So that's why, you know how they say women shouldn't eat, I think, like under 1200 and men should eat under 1500 calories. That's why, because under that probably will be lower than your BMR. And if you go lower than your BMR, that's when you do that whole starvation mode thing, I think. And that's when you can start damaging your metabolic rate because your body is going to have to pull it back. And when you damage your metabolic rate, you don't burn calories as fast or efficiently. So you end up gaining weight despite the fact that you're not eating a lot of food. You know what I'm saying? It's because your metabolism's too slow. So you got to boost your metabolism back up so you can not, like, I don't want to say blow up because kind of feels like that's a negative way of saying it. And we don't want to be negative. So if you ever got to the point like women, I think I read a while ago, like once we start hitting 18, our metabolism gradually slows down every year from that point on, unfortunately. So that means you can be eating the same way, like from 18 to 22, and you would gain weight because your body isn't burning as much calories for you doing the same things. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, so let's talk about the D word, diet. Now, I got mixed feelings about the diet word for the simple fact is we've kind of been conditioned that diet pertains to weight loss, when in reality, diet should be the sum of food consumed by a person or another organism, which just means this is your nutrition, this is the way you eat. That's what your diet should be. So, I want you guys, like, when you're on your weight loss journey, not to think of you as being on a diet, as this is your diet because you're making a healthy lifestyle choice. Like, this is the way you want to eat food for the rest of your life. So that's why I like calorie counting, because I don't have to deny myself foods for the simple fact that I'm keeping track of the calories. When you do other diet plans, this is just my opinion, you're forcing yourself into that whole I'm eating like this just to lose weight, when the mentality really should be I'm eating like this to support a healthy lifestyle. You know? I think that makes sense to me. But yeah. So that's all for this video. If I have enough time, I will have the notes section up with the additional information. And if I don't, then I'll get it out to you guys Monday. And then I'll also post it in the Facebook group, and I'll put a link to that. Remember, this group is for ladies only, so fellas, please do not request to be in the group. And if your request is ever turned down, just message me on the Facebook page, because sometimes fake accounts or scammers try to get in groups. So there are certain things I'm looking for before I approve a group request. So if I made an accident and turned yours down, just message the page or comment somewhere. It's better than message the page because sometimes I do miss comments. I try to like read them all, but every now and then I might miss some. But yeah, that's everything, and I still haven't figured out how I wanted to sign this off. So thanks for watching, guys.